Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shay Ryan Douglas, and today I'm joined with Dr. Espen. We're really excited to really unpack last week's episode with our special guest here and to share a little bit of what went on there. But before we get into that, I just wanted to welcome you to Dr. EHTV. This is a really exciting video on demand platform that we've been building out for the last couple of months now and have been receiving tremendous feedback as we're living in service and offering tremendous value as we invite guest speakers who are experts on unpacking the 8 areas of life. But Dr. Espen really dives in deep with really profound questions to help them just unravel the experience of life that we find ourselves in and keeping it relevant to what's actually going on in the world right now. Today, we're going to be talking about a really significant element and organ of the human body that is the pinnacle of life. But before we dive into that, I just wanted to welcome you, Dr. E. Thanks for joining me. And I just wanted to thank you guys for watching right now. If you do like this video, please leave us a like. If you have a question or you don't like the video, please write it in the comments and we will respond to the comments. We would love to open up the conversation and hear your perspective. And if you did get value out of this, please share this with your friends and family. So Dr. E, welcome back, mate. It's so good. I love these Wednesdays afternoons to just sit down and yarn with you. The insights that you offer, the experience that you have really is tremendously valuable, particularly in our times right now. And before we get into the heart, I'm really curious if you just want to unpack some of the main takeaways from last week with this conversation that we had, which is now available on Dr. EHTV. It is a subscription model, guys, so you're invited to join where you get a 7-day free trial and there's no obligation. You can cancel at any time for free at any moment. So we want to offer you value here and would love you to join us in this really exciting opportunity. So Dr. E, what was last week like? Give us a little rundown.
Awesome. Hey guys, good to see you again. Good to be with you. Last week we had an opportunity to interview a international celebrity, an incredible man that's done some incredible things and gone through incredible things. He's pretty much in media almost every single day now, in Australia at least, and he's certainly controversial, let's put it that way. But it was really interesting to speak to a man that has, as far as I'm concerned, high levels of consciousness and enables us to really see how simple life can be, and how even though you're being slaughtered almost in media and by other people, but you can still live a magnificent life. And as I've said, it's not the obstacles that define us, but how we respond to it and what we believe about it that makes us who we are. So that's a really special thing. Last week's takeaway was really, really powerful for me. If you guys have a chance to listen to the interview, it really takes us through some real fundamental building blocks of what to do to make our lives magnificent, and how easy it is to forget to do it. It absolutely is crazy how easy it is to forget to do these simple things. So listen to that interview with our secret guest, and feel free to jump in and apply that. That was really, really cool. And it was so awesome too, because this celebrity chef, if you will, also taught us, he ended on a note which was highly spiritual. So he brought it back to that deep essence of spirituality, which I thought was so amazing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And for anyone who's listening in for the first time today, could you please just maybe explain for us what the main purpose is of Dr. EHTV and how we can bring value to people through this video platform?
Awesome question. So for many, many years, having helped thousands of people as a primary healthcare physician in clinic, I think it was about 14,000 people I've helped personally, and then many, many more thousands in the live events. There's a couple of key points that I see regularly, and that is people asking for well, let's put it this way. The solutions that people are frequently asking for, we are trying to deliver those through the work that we're doing here. One of which is you hear from experts, some of the best in the world, including what are some of the stuff that we teach. 2, when you hear it, you apply it immediately to your life. So we'll share an art, science, or philosophy with you. You'll get to apply it in your life. You would tailor it to your specific life, to your specific needs. And 3, I give you a weekly activity. And that activity is kind of like your coach giving you the homework to complete. So if you listen to Dr. EHTV and you listen to the stuff that's on Earth here on a regular basis, you will actually have an opportunity to get quote unquote regular weekly coaching and or at least accountability with an activity for you to complete. So if you don't have the money for an expensive coach, if you don't know what to do, if you don't know what area of life to focus on, if you don't know how to do it, just follow along, apply the activity, and check in again to the next one as soon as you can. And we will hold your hand, through the whole process, really.
Yeah, that's right. And that's one thing that really makes this quite significant on Dr. ETV. And the real point of difference here is that there is tremendous amount of engagement for people to be a part of, contribute, actually really soak in the content, but do the activities and do it ultimately for yourself. Because what Dr. Espen really reveals here is some of the fundamental principles in understanding all the 8 areas of life. And I can actually speak for my own self that it's actually helped me through many different processes as we've worked our way up all of the energy systems of the body. In the past, we started with the physical, emotional, financial, and today, the exciting part, we really start to tap into this part of the body that seems to be at the epicenter of the human being, and it's the heart. So I'm really curious to explore and hear from Dr. Espen's perspective the importance of understanding our heart, not just only as an organ, but as an energy center of the body, and how that really emanates as electromagnetic beings, and how we can overcome any blockages in this area. So Espen, if you want to give us a little brief intro into the importance of understanding the heart.
Absolutely. So guys, this is huge. When we talk to many of the scientists and also the esoteric teachers, the sages, the wisdoms, the masters, the gurus, very often what you'll hear is that the heart center, or the heart and the energy associated with the heart, is one of the key elements to humanity's, call it salvation, call it awakening, call it harmony, call it, whatever you want to call it, enlightenment. And the truth here is that there is the physical component of the actual anatomical heart, and with it the energetic field, the energy field, the magnetic field, and the electrical field around the heart. So we'll speak to the science of that, and I'll basically share with you exactly what it is that does and how that works within you and how you can begin to tap into that incredible quantum power. But then there is also the other aspect of it, which is the energetic or the consciousness space of the heart. And so you will get the full interview in Dr. ETV, the subscription model, but we'll give you a little bit of a brief overview effectively. And in order to do so, one of my best ways to serve you in this sense is not to tell you how things are, but rather to ask you a question. So what I'd like you to do, and you might have heard this question before if you've been listening, and again, these questions are going to define what we believe about our lives and what we believe we will achieve. So these questions are very, very powerful. I want you to find the answers for yourself instead of me telling you what I think is right, because when you find the answers, you transform from within. So in a moment, before we get started, just get comfortable. And if you're not driving or doing anything you shouldn't be doing, if you are, that's totally cool. But if you are able to close your eyes and do so safely, do so now. And I'm just going to take you through a really simple question, and you'll get 2 possible scenarios. There is no right or wrong scenario. It is simply what you believe. And you'll only choose one of these 2 scenarios. It'll either be scenario 1 or it will be scenario 2. When you choose it, just say either I believe scenario 1 or I believe scenario 2 is correct. Okay, so I'll give you scenario 1, then I'll hop over to scenario 2, and then I'll come back to scenario 1, and then back to scenario 2. Okay, let's begin. Taking a big breath in, and a big exhale. I'm just feeling the body fully relax. Big breath in one more time. And then another exhale. And then a third breath, big breath in through the nose, filling your lungs completely. And exhale. And now please place your hands over your heart. So your right hand on your heart and your left hand on top of the right hand. Let me give you 2 possible scenarios. Neither scenario is right or wrong, and it's simply what you believe. You only choose from one. Let's begin. Scenario 1 is for you if you believe that you are simply made up of flesh and bone. Scenario 1 is for you if you believe that this world is simply physical in nature. That means that scenario 1 is for you if you believe that everything that you can touch and feel is the only thing that exists, and there's nothing else more than the physical, and that is it. Scenario 2 is for you if you believe that inside of you, perhaps there is a spirit or a soul, something more to you than just physical flesh. And scenario 2 is for you if you believe that there is some sort of intelligence within all things. That's scenario 2. So take a moment now just to feel into either scenario 1, if you believe that you are only physical flesh and bone, and this world is only physical, or scenario 2, that there's more to you than just the things that you can touch, feel, and see. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. If scenario 1 is what you believe, and you believe that everything in the universe, everything that exists purely is physical and there is nothing else but matter, then say scenario 1 is what I believe, and please go ahead and say that now. Thank you. But if scenario 2 is what you believe, and you believe there's more to you than just the physical flesh, maybe perhaps inside the people that you love, your children, there's more than just physical flesh. There is a spirit or a soul or some sort of consciousness, more to life than just the physical. If that's what you believe, then go ahead and say, I believe in scenario 2, and say that now. Wonderful. Well done. When you're ready, take a big breath in and a big breath out. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes. Well done, team. Now, one thing you would have noticed is that I did not tell you that either one was good or bad or right or wrong. I simply asked you what you believe. Now, the truth, according to 121 years of science, ever since the incredible quantum physicist Max Planck, the father of quantum theory, discovered quantum mechanics or quantum physics and won a Nobel Prize for the thing that I'm about to share with you. Ever since that day, it has been proven through metaphysics and quantum physics that you as a body, you as a person, you, me, everything, this table, everything that is physical, is actually made up of 99.9% pure space. To give you some context, if I put your hand under a microscope, you're going to see that you're going to see a molecule. You might have heard of a molecule. Then if you go lower, you find an atom. In the middle of the atom, there's a nucleus, and then there's subnuclear, meaning below then the nucleus, smaller bits. If you go deep enough within this microscope, you're going to find that you're actually made up of 99.9% non-physical. Okay, so if you said, I believe in scenario 2 that there's more to me than just the physical flesh, according to quantum physics, you're absolutely correct. If you said that you only believe that you're physical flesh and bone, well, you might want to consider what that means to you in your life, because that means that you're limited. But if you believe that you're a pure energy, pure consciousness, spirit, and a soul expressed in human form, perhaps, then you are in fact, in essence, limitless. So why am I talking about this when it comes to the heart? Well, the heart energy center is I guess you can call it the portal to that consciousness, because the 3 lower energy centers, or the 3 lower chakras, related to the area of life called physical health, mental and emotional state, and finances, are the 3 lower energy centers of the human experience. They're the 3D kind of physical experience chakras. According to a fellow researcher and scientist, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he shares with us that 95% of all the energy that we have available, all the power and transformation that we have available to us, he says that 95% of that is actually stored in the 3 low energy centers. So when that energy moves up and begins to meet the heart, you can see I put my logo over my heart today. That means that you will begin to enter the quantum field effectively. The Heart Math, to give you some research, the Heart Math Institute, if you look at anatomy and physiology and also energetic sciences, the Heart Math Institute was able to measure the energy field of the heart, where they were measuring with an EEG, an electroencephalogram. They were scientifically measuring this magnetic field around the heart, which you all have, is called the torus field. We all have it. And they were able to measure this to a certain frequency, to a certain power, a certain strength magnetically. And then they measured the energy field of a person's brain, and they did this with many, many subjects over many, many years. And when they measured the energy field of the brain, the actual field of the magnetic power of the brain, with an ECG, the ECG, an echocardiogram, was used for the heart, and an EEG, an electroencephalogram, was used for the brain, of course. When they compared the 2 magnetic fields, the field of the heart and the field of the brain, the Heart Math Institute found that the magnetic field of the heart was actually 5,000 times more powerful than the magnetic field of the brain. Okay, 5,000 times more powerful. Now, the German researchers at the University of Kassel found the exact same figure, 5,000 times more powerful, that you could emit 5,000 times more photons. They're little particles of light. That's right, you're made up of actual light. Yes, it's true, and it's scientifically proven. The 5,000 times more particle of light emitted, sent out from your heart when you focused on your heart center and you focused on love and peace and healing, etc. So to summarize, the heart center is an extremely powerful center. It is directly related to our relationships with the Great Spirit or lack thereof, our relationship with the people that we love or lack thereof, our relationship and our love to ourselves or a lack thereof. And when you do this work, and I'm going to share a story, a very, very powerful story in the Dr. EHTV subscription at the moment, where you're going to hear the story of an Indigenous elder, a First Nations elder here in Australia that suffered with severe depression, with grief, sadness, and despair for 50 years until she did the heart opening breakthrough exercise in the 3-day live quantum advanced event. And I'm going to share with you exactly the steps that we do in that live event as to how you can remove the primary block, the number one block that is stopping you from having beautiful relationships, heart-centered, open-hearted, loving, gratitude, and compassion-based relationships in your life. And remember, we are in a relationship with everything and everyone around us. So opening the heart is one of the key elements to really living an incredible experience and having beautiful relationships.
Wow, man. I absolutely love this topic and everything you're sharing there, from the toroidal field to opening up our hearts, to the potential of tapping into everything and understanding everything is energy. It's a really awesome topic to dive really deep into. I'm super excited to really unpack it with you in that episode on Dr. EHTV, which is going to happen in just a moment, guys. But before we get there, we also wanted to just give a little shout out to another human being who is doing wonderful things. He is a public speaker. He's an expert in a variety of different fields, including coaching and working with people to understand how powerful we actually all are and how we can tap into that even more so. And so next week we do have a special guest on the show. Dr. Espen, would you like to introduce him?
Absolutely, we'd be honored. And this, and I just caught myself moving my body as soon as I began to speak. And that's something when you learn to study body language, you learn that when people are feeling in high emotion or a low emotion, they'll start to move their body. So I'll just move my body because I was so excited to introduce this person. The incredible John Grant Harvey, which is one of my personal friends and also one of my coaches over many years, has incredible wisdom. He's the founder of the Australian Mindset Institute. He also has been one of the main mindset coaches for Australian Open and US Open tennis players, among some. And more than anything, if you've heard me speak and interview John and do some work with John before, you might have heard of his incredible expertise in the public speaking arena. He's an absolute master coach and speaker trainer. So learning how to speak your truth and sell with soul and create wealth from workshops, etc. So we'll touch on that. But what I think you're going to find in the next episode when we do interview John next week is his ridiculous knowledge around spiritual, esoteric, and the ascension part of the conversation. He's an absolute, as far as I'm concerned, as close to enlightened being as you'll find, and you'd be absolutely amazed as to the level of expertise he has in the area of life called spiritual fulfillment. And so we're going to take the conversation there. It's going to be absolutely off the charts because we're not going to be holding back, and some of the stuff that you'll hear him say will not be what you normally hear John say. So I'm pumped to introduce you to one of my best friends and one of my personal mentors.
Love it so much, man. It's going to be exciting. So guys, if you want to join us in this conversation around opening up the heart and how we can really understand what is going on in our hearts and how to move through any blockages that may be holding us back, and what are those primary blockages that may be holding us back. And then even more so, how we can evolve and break through them with Dr. E. Join us now. We're going to head over to go live on Dr. E TV. Simply follow the link in the comment section and we'll see you over there.
See you there, guys.